football just starts up again, I love this time of year. This August time of year, football's kicking in, guys are getting back in. This is where teams come together. So think about football teams as your business teams. Think about those things, whether you're a real estate agent, you know, if you have other people on your team, whether you have a traditional business, you're in kind of a networking business to where everybody understands their own roles. This is why we go into preseason in the NFL, or throughout all of college. This is what we learn. It's how do you build camaraderie? How do you get the teamwork really going and growing? This is the best part of the season, because this is where teams really start to gel, really come together. You figure out who's gonna be with you, figure out who's not gonna be with you. You understand guys, so that way when the time really comes in to go kick some butt, you already know who's on your side. You know the team that you have. You know that you're set up for that battle to take on any challenge. Again, it's not just in football. I love transitioning this like I did in my book. I love transitioning what we learned on the football field to the boardroom. This all kind of takes place. What is it that you're learning every single day? What are those assets that you learned back when you were in middle school, in high school, in college? What are those assets that you've learned to create a better business experience? When it comes to the NFL, when it comes to these guys, you know, getting injured, these guys really stepping up and making plays, I love watching it because this is where the molding really starts to take place within each individual person, within the offense, within the defense. So if I think about it back in my business here, I think about what can I do better as we move into this fourth quarter of the year? What can we do better as a team? What can we as a company do better with our patients? You know, what can we help our patients do better? And so to me, it's always, this is what we call the dog days of summer. It's hot outside, you're sweating, you don't want to be there. What did you do through the summer? Did you go on vacations, or did you really buckle down and figure out what you're gonna do? Guys, we're in the middle of the third quarter. The fourth quarter is coming up. October, November, December are gonna be here before we know it. Are you getting your team ready? Are you getting yourself prepared? Are you doing all the little things that it takes to really step up to that next level so you can finish the fourth quarter strong? Actually, my whole staff tonight has a meeting for an hour and a half with a third-party consultant. Me and my owners, we have a 3-day retreat this weekend to go over all of our goals. We want to talk about where we're at and now write down where we're going. What is that vision for the future that you have? That's one of the most important things that people don't just actually sit down and write. Again, staff is doing their own thing, owners are doing their own thing, then we're all going to come back together to figure out how we really take our business to the next level. What are you doing with your teams? Write down your goals. I know you've heard this 1,000 times, but literally get with your team. Let's talk about budgeting, talk about marketing, talk about sales, talk about accounts payable, accounts receivable, talk about all these things. So that way everybody knows where you're at. Once you start doing that, you're gonna see that, oh wow, I already knew this was coming. Oh, I knew that was coming too. You were prepared. Hey, we did even better. Why would you do better? Because you were prepared. Go prepare yourself now. Get the goal setting now, just like they're doing in the NFL, so that way you can go achieve your goals. You have your mind set on your destination. Too many people go through life not knowing the end result that they really want. Now, don't get me wrong. Let the journey be the destination for sure, but understand where you're trying to get to. Love the dirty work. Love the ins and outs. Love the monotony of becoming a professional. I don't know how many times we did a play just to get the play right. You do it over and over and over again. This is what we call repetition. Repetition is the mother or the root of professionalism. That's how you have to do it time and time again. Yeah, it gets monotonous, but guess what? It creates value, not only in yourself, your team, but in those that you're really serving. I love the old quote that says, it doesn't matter how you start, it just matters how you finish. That's 1000% true. You see it all the time in track. You see it, the Olympics were just on. We got to see it there. People would fall on their face, you know, they'd hit their head, they'd get back up, whatever it might be. I saw guys on the bars, you know, they'd go and fall, they'd get right back up and do it again. I sat back and I go, oh no, don't get back up. Like, you just fell twice. But he gets back up because they know what they're doing. But how many of us, I even in my head said, oh no, sit down, take a breather. But they go, no, I'm gonna finish. I've been practicing for the last, since the Olympics took an extended year, I've been practicing for the last 5 years for this 60-second routine. I gotta finish. And I love that mindset because as I felt myself going, don't do it, they got back up there and they finished their segment. They finished their event. How many of us fall on our face? How many of us have something bad happen to where it really distracts us from doing what we should do. I love the fact that they did that. I love what football's going through. And I always kind of just use those analogies to really drive me throughout the day to say, look, if all these athletes are putting themselves through that, I can put myself through this mentally. In business, that's all we really do. It's mostly mental. What is your mental conditioning? If you fall down, are you quitting? If somebody gives you constructive criticism, do you get upset? Or how do you respond to anything that happens negatively? I never wanted to write down goals. I didn't. I remember my dad told me, and my dad played professional football as well as a football coach. And he had all his coaches always around us. And my dad just said, just write it down. And I would always make the excuse, but Dad, the coach doesn't know what this is. Dad, the quarterback doesn't know. Dad, the offensive line doesn't know. My tight end coach doesn't know. And I would always make excuses. I really didn't I really didn't understand my dad until I was about a junior in college. That's when I actually wrote it down. And my dad goes, look, if you just write it down, just, hey, I'm gonna make 5 catches this game. I want 100 yards. I want 2 touchdowns. He goes, once you have it written down, now you can go tell your quarterback, hey, today, I want 4 catches. Here's my goal. I want 5 catches. Hey, I want 2 touchdowns a day. You can go tell your coach, hey coach, I already have it written down. I want 2 touchdowns a day. What do you think is gonna happen when we get into a scoring position? What do you think happened when we got into scoring positions? I started scoring touchdowns. I started getting the catches. Why? Because I set the seed within my teammates and my coaches that, hey, here's what I'm ready to do. Here's what I plan on doing today. Because we all want somebody around us to say, here's what we got to do, here's how we're going to do it. Everybody wants to follow a leader. How do you become a leader? You have that vision. You have your goals dialed in, and they're so realistic, and you create that vision so well for those around you that they jump on board with you because they go, oh, okay, I didn't even think about throwing you 2 touchdown passes today. Okay, let me start thinking about that. As the coach goes through the game plans, you know, coaches have those big old boards where they have so many plays written down. But guess what they're thinking now? What did Crafts just tell me? Hey, you know what? Let's get him the ball. Because he stepped up to me this week. He stepped up to me before the game saying he was ready to score his goals. He was ready to help the team by receptions, by yards, and by touchdowns. When you can set that, and that's when I did it. That's when I first started it. But that is where I can be so particular on my goals that I can tell those around me. When they know that you've literally written down those goals on a serious level, that vibration, that energy really just kicks into them and they go, I like that. You know, the coach goes, hey, that's a great idea. You know, maybe they weren't even thinking about that. Maybe they had some negativity in their thought process. Maybe they had some doubt in their thought process. But when I came and shattered that, because I love the saying that when 2 people with morale meet, he who is most certain will win the conversation. If I step to them with certainty, they go, oh, Jonas is more certain. I want to follow him. Again, uncertainty that they're having, I step in with certainty because I have my goals written down. Who do you need to step into certainty with? Who do you need to tell that, hey, I'm certain where we are going. Here is our vision. Think about that when it comes to not only yourself, your family, your friends, your loved ones, but also your business partners. What are you telling them? Your clients. What are you telling and teaching and preaching to them? Can they trust you? Are you congruent with what you say? Do you follow through with what you say? Dog days of summer. Let's finish off this 4th quarter strong. Get with your teams. Get with your inner self. Start writing down what goals you want to finish this year. So that way it doesn't just, hey, January's here. Let's talk about our goals for 2021. Start talking about your goals to finish out 2021. This is what we finish. How do you finish? Let's finish strong. Football starting. I'm freaking excited. I hope you're excited because as we watch them compete, it helps me compete in my regular business. Because if it's up here and in here, it can be done. But you have to feel it and you have to see it to think about it to get there, right? I love the old saying, what the mind can conceive and believe, the body can achieve. But you have to conceive it first. I got to think about it. Now I got to believe it. I'll go achieve it. Let's go achieve and finish off the 4th quarter this year. So I hope you go out and compete. I hope you finish the 4th quarter strong and always, always get your mind right. Coach Crafts coming at you. Talk to you soon.